Good afternoon, B-Sides Manchester. Woo!
That is too much enthusiasm.
Don't go off half-cocked. We haven't started yet.
We are the beer farmers. We'll go on to who we are in a sec. Quick. We carry a parental... Careful.
The programme's on the internet and everything.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Rush.
We need to tell them it's going to be offensive before...
Like a massive C word on the screen.
I know, that's for me. They cunt a lot.
Right, well, that's it. We carry a parental advisory because Andy says cunt a lot. At every conference, whether there are children there or not, so we feel it's appropriate to carry a parental advisory.
I'm offended that you're offended. I'm just going to say that.
I swear a bit. F-bombs, generally. John never swears. And we don't know much about you yet.
That's completely on purpose.
So we've got a talk for you today. It's the second time we've given this talk. We'll talk a little bit about the first time we gave the talk as well in a few minutes. It's called Rage Against the FUD. So Rage Against the Fear, Uncertainty and Doubt. Okay, concepts that many of you will be familiar with working in the information security industry, often used by manufacturers of products to scare you effectively into buying their particular brand of thing.
That's what fear is.
Yeah.
Scary shit.
Okay. But we'll dissect the concepts. So a little bit about who we are.
Again.
We'll dissect the concepts.
That's quite hard to say. I'm glad you said that, not me.
I've only just started with this, it's fine. You've been in the pub.
What's that?
You've been in the pub for 3 hours.
Hey, before we start, can I just do this?
You can, yeah.
If anyone wants to take a photograph of the back of this hacksock hoodie and then translate it for me by the end of this talk.
Pull it down. There's a fold.
Oh,
There's
Obfuscation.
Is that like obfuscation?
Wanker.
Right, shit. If anyone can translate it by the end of this, I'll buy them a beer
So
at the after party that's already fully sponsored, so I won't have to pay any money.
So get on GitHub, get on CyberChef, stick it in there, you'll get your answer really quick. We are the beer farmers, so there are 7 beer farmers, okay? 3 of the original beer farmers are here. Myself, Mike. I work for a company not far up the road in Rochdale, doing security. John, who's Belgium-based and doesn't get to the UK very often for various different reasons.
Because he doesn't like
Brexit.
He doesn't like
I like it a lot.
He doesn't like the UK. He likes London. You like London,
Give us
Manchester.
another half an hour. You can come back.
So John does security for his company, an information services company in Belgium. Andy, you're a pen tester.
Yeah, I test pens.
You test pens. Day in,
quite
day
like
out. Vic certified.
Yeah, exactly. Best certification ever.
And Brian, so Brian's a kind of new addition to the beer farmers. He's got eyes behind those things on his
I was
face.
recruited under duress on the Twitter last month.
Yeah.
That's my Twitter handle, by the way, if you want to follow me on it. But I only tweet in base 64, so no one speaks to me except Freaky Clown. Don't record that part.
No.
It's already rolling.
And if you want him to follow you back, he doesn't.
Oh no, I only follow 20 things, it's my ceiling. So
All right.
you're buggered if you want me to follow you back, quite frankly.
Okay, a quick look back, really, before we get into the main content around what we've been up to this year. So we've been pretty bloody busy, actually. I see a lot of people here who we've seen at various talks around the UK.
Stop stalking us. We're not that great.
Well, yeah. That's the best advice of the day, I think.
Like no one's ever stalked a ginger person in the history of the world.
The ginger hunters have.
Back in your box, yeah.
Brian, do you need the toilet yet?
No, why? Do you think I do?
Oh, it might be an idea. Anyway, so we'll continue.
Chatting too much piss.
The beer farmers came into existence in August last year, so we've been around a year. And we came out with a few ideas. What we thought at the time was going on in the information security industry was that it was up its own arse.
It
right?
still is.
Still is up its own arse, but we can see its legs now, okay? It's taken itself far too seriously, a lot of friction, a lot of drama. Again, still plenty of that going on.
Yeah.
But we came together and thought, why don't we put a few ideas around trying to cheer the fucking place up a little bit. And so the beer farmers became a thing. Originally myself, John, Ian and Sean. Ian and Sean can't be with us today, unfortunately.
They died.
Well, no, Sean died, Ian killed Sean.
Oh, yes.
Sean, yeah, Ian's in jail.
Ian's on the run.
Ian's on remand.
That's what they respects.
Yeah. So we
We
thought,
don't advocate homicide under any circumstances.
we're not going to get.
Although
saying.
Brian and I have done a talk about hate bodies, just saying.
Yeah,
It's
Internet of Death. It's on the YouTube.
It's on the YouTubes. We need to crack on. We're getting the green, yellow card already.
Are you joking? About an hour.
So we decided let's put a talk in to a conference, just kind of like speculatively, and we put a talk in to B-Sides Leeds, and Mark Carney, to his eternal credit, said yeah. He liked the idea of the beer farmers. We take the piss a little bit. We're a parody rock group. Come along and do stuff. And we did a talk, and it went down pretty well, and we rocked on from then. So we've gone around the UK talking about companies that take your security seriously or actually don't take your security seriously. That's been quite a popular topic. And then we thought at the middle of the year, we'll kind of turn it up on its head a little bit and do a talk about something else. So we've been around a little bit. This talk we gave at SteelCon in Sheffield on the 13th of July. We modified the content, so there's some stuff we take out and stuff we put in. But I'll show of hands, who was at SteelCon and saw our talk?
I was giving mine.
I was not there because I'm banned from Yorkshire by the police.
All right.
Why?
Alcohol was a theme.
Bad boy of a bit
Tell you at the after party.
Alcohol was a theme. And by the way, Dave, cheers for the homebrew. Yeah. So we got poisoned at SteelCon. So as we were about to
Before or after you did do a talk?
literally seconds before we were due to speak, we were stood on the stage. Andy
You're
was
telling me to go to the toilet.
Andy was on the stage with what appeared to be a glass of whiskey.
It was a glass of whiskey, yeah.
And then on ran Robin, one of the co-organisers of SteelCon, and said, guys, here, have a whiskey. We thought, well, he's got one, so this is the same shit, right? Nah. It was different shit. It was 500,000 Scoville Naga Viper vodka. Anybody see the video? Well, you guys that were present, you saw exactly what happened, right? The entire talk fell to shit.
I was fine. I was perfectly no problem.
Because you were drinking like 30-year-old whiskey, we were drinking the shit that was swept out the toilet floor.
Arguably the same thing, but yeah.
So Ian took it well to begin with.
Like a champ.
Sean fell apart in a heap. And then I couldn't speak for about 10 to 15 minutes. Or see. And it was kind of bad because my laptop packed in and I couldn't get anything working and the IT all fell apart and it just kind of bollocksed up the first 10 minutes of the
I don't think we've had a presentation yet where your laptop hasn't shut the bed.
True. Or a talk yet that's gone to plan.
True. So we're on a roll. So
that was SteelCon Sheffield, a really welcoming bunch of people from South Yorkshire that chooses to strategically poison its main track speakers, and they didn't just get us. They got Scott Helm. They got who's the guy?
Some guy.
A couple of people. Yeah, got fucked by it. All right.
Anyway, on to the main part of the talk.
So, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Edvard Munch's Scream, right? I just thought I'd put that in for a bit of culture. I know nothing about art particularly.
Nicked.
It's nicked. They got a copy back.
Latin criminals.
Better than nothing,
Can't
right?
trust the fuckers.
So let's just quickly cover what the concepts of fear, uncertainty, and doubt are. So fear is the idea that
It's not me in that.
it's an emotion, a chemical emotion that's caused by a threat of danger, pain, harm to you or to other people. Okay, it's as simple as that. Somebody sticking a gun in your face is going to arouse that particular emotion. Uncertainty is, well, do I take the left route? Do I take the right route? Not entirely sure. It's a lack of confidence in being able to make a judgment, a correct decision. Okay. And doubt is am I being told the truth or am I being told a lie? I'm not entirely sure. Could lead me to make a correct decision. Could lead me to make a dangerous decision. So who recognises this concept art here? Yeah? So it's doubting Thomas, okay? So Thomas was an apostle that didn't believe that Jesus could have arisen from the grave, from his crucifixion, and is shanking by a Roman soldier in a spear. So what Jesus did was, he said, yeah, get your fingers in there and I'll prove to you that this actually happened. And that allegedly was what dealt with Thomas's doubt, okay? Other deities are available, okay?
Other fiction is available.
There are lots of good books out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody shout out what film's this a line from? Good answer. officer, I'd let you have a bottle of this beer, but you can fuck right off. So two people said The Matrix. No, it never got said. It never got said in the film. It's a Mandela effect that people believe it was said at the scene when Morpheus gives the blue pill, red pill thing to Neo. It never got said in the film, but popular culture has perpetuated it as a thing that actually got said in the movie, and people assume automatically that it was said in the film. It's actually bollocks.
So it's a waste of time, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or bollocks.
So it's a falsehood that people then become institutionally believing of, right? All right, bullshit. So that's what we think about. I don't normally get laughs. It's usually the other guy. All right. So, Bloomberg. Okay, Bloomberg are a really big US news outlet, and they talk about everything. They talk a lot of crap. And here's an example of that. So they published an article, I think it was in October last year, and the article was around the idea that Supermicro, the motherboard manufacturer, was having Chinese government-inserted chips implanted onto their motherboards that were then being sold to Western countries, Western manufacturers. That backdoored data. Okay, all the way back to Beijing, to the Chinese government. It was utter bollocks. It wasn't true. And their claim was that it affected everybody as big as Apple and Microsoft and Intel were all affected by this problem. There was no evidence at all in support of this being true. And even Apple came out and said, this is just shit. Yeah, it's absolutely untrue. So we released a record. And the record was There's a Chiming in My Computer. Beer Farmers.
Did we? I don't remember that one.
This was before your time.
I see.
This was when just the four of us.
We had weekly charts where 12 songs of the Beer Farmers and then one of someone else.
Every week, exactly right. So every week what we do from the Beer Farmers Twitter account is publish a new record that we'd released, because Infosec Rock Gods. And we'd pick a topic of that particular week and we'd do a meme. And that was the meme associated with this particular example of bullshit. And Bloomberg are pretty guilty of this regularly. Headline grabbing, ad clicking, clickbait, yada yada. That's what
they're the same as Fox News and CNN. Just nonsense.
Yeah. They are.
Or anyone, really.
BBC and Sky.
Yeah.
And particularly the Sun newspaper.
Yeah.
They quote me on a weekly basis because I'm just the first one.
You're an expert, according to them.
Yeah. Right.
Specialist, mate, specialist.
Dan Raywood, you're not in the room, are you?
No.
He's behind you.
He's behind you.
But it's not Dan.
Dan's cool.
Yes. It's not even Dan.
Dan's cool. He's great. A very talented journalist. But Infosec magazine posted this article earlier in the year, which got us a little bit angry, fair to say. The idea that there were flaws discovered in popular password managers. The flaws boiled down to cached credentials in Windows machines. And that can be a problem that causes any kind of compromise. It's nothing specific to password managers. It was utter bollocks. But the actual article had its title modified. That's what it actually said originally, that using password managers is no more secure than using a text file. Now, if that's not a headline grab, then I've got no idea what is. And I don't know if you can read that there, but they changed the title, but quite categorically forgot to modify the URL. And that left in half of the original statement. And so the research company that did this kind of had to backtrack in a lot of their kind of sound bites and rhetoric, as did the writer of the article here, because it was absolutely not true. A password manager is nothing like using a text file in order to store your credentials, store your secrets.
Depends what password manager.
Yeah.
Some claim to be an Apple.
Yeah. But it was a general point. And it picked... Yeah, John.
Yeah, it's a bit detrimental in the sense we're trying to bring this bring awareness and just say password manager is a secure solution. We've been doing that a lot. A lot of people in InfoSec doing that. This kind of articles are not what we need. And it's not that everyone has to use a password manager, but at least take informed decisions and outweigh the use of a password manager against reusing passwords, for instance. That's what it's all about. And password managers have flaws, but this is really ridiculous and taken out of context. And what bothers me the most is that it's just, a lot of people just blindly believe this, and you do a lot of awareness and and then you get this kind of articles. I think that's not good at all.
Yeah, it breeds bad behaviour. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you see it from what you perceive to be an authoritative source like the media, or...
You say that, but it is in for security. I mean, it's got leadership of maybe 20 CEOs.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, how many views do they get? It could be a lot.
I picked on this organisation because they were the breaking news outlet, but there were 5 or 6 other news outlets that did exactly the same thing. Yeah.
But the media influences a lot more than you potentially realise. So I have a side job, a UK spokesman for Comparatech.com. Last week, I gave a comment to the media about Apple. Their last upgrade had actually unfixed a fix they'd done in the upgrade before. Hopefully a lot of you have heard about it. And they were like, well, we'll fix it in 2 or 3 days. So I told The Sun newspaper, not on purpose, that I was going to switch off my iPhone and go and get an Android pay-as-you-go for 2 days until they fixed the thing. And I'm pretty sure that got like 15 million hits online. So out of those 15 million people, some of them will have actually taken me seriously and ditched their iPhone. I didn't, because it's got pictures on it and stuff that I quite like. But I said I would, and they called me a security buff, which I was quite pleased about, in the paper, which I'm not.
I'd rather be called a buff than an expert.
Well, specialist, I'm not an expert.
Or an
You also get
influencer.
called an expert.
Crying out loud. Yeah, but they're not supposed to say that. Anyway, back to you,
Yeah.
main stage, whatever you want.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, Debbie.
Is Debbie here? Oh no, she's outside.
No, she's
And
behind you.
Oh, you are there. Debbie, stand up, take a round of applause.
Hey.
Yeah, go on. Lovely, Debbie! Right, crack on, Jim.
all right, okay. P.S.
In daylight.
P.S. Don't buy the Sun.
Right.
Okay.
So that again, just repeat that, because I think some people missed it.
Oh, didn't they?
By
No,
the
no.
sun, what, like the actual star?
Hashtag don't buy the Sun. Right. Multi-factor authentication. Right. So, or 2FA, MFA, whatever FA, sweet FA. I don't know. But you can... But this is a debate that rages day in, day out online, all right, about the do's and don'ts and rights and wrongs of multi-factor auth, yeah? Is SMS 2FA a good idea? Right, I went very public a few months ago and said, actually, it's better than not having any MFA at all, which I felt at the time was a perfectly reasonable argument. So for ordinary users of services that support 2FA via SMS, then great, switch it on. That was until Ofcom made a change last month to make SIM or account swapping a matter of simply sending a text to your provider and they'll take care of everything. And for me, that kind of became a bit of an all bets are off moment around the validity or the general safety of SMS-based 2FA. And I publicly then went back on my original argument and said, actually, I'm not so sure it's a good idea anymore. So, chaps, any thoughts on that?
Honestly, yeah, you're right. It's still, at least what you're talking about, I'm not aware about Belgium, but I think SIM swapping attacks in Belgium are really, really rare and very targeted. Some countries in the world that's different. Also in the US, I know that's common practice is a lot said, but still going on a lot. So yes, SMS based, not really good, but still better than no MFA in my opinion. And if you just use an authenticator app, that would be really great. But thing is, everything is hackable. Only what we've seen is with Google, with their own employees. They have this physical key, and no one was phished in, I don't know how long time it was that they have done it, but they had really zero effective phishing attacks by using their physical key. So yes, that's the best way we know at the moment, but it's also not feasible for the average user to use physical keys. It's also too expensive, so we have to deal with what we have. So yeah, in my opinion, SMS based 2FA, why not? If that's the best possible solution.
It's better than nothing to an extent. It is a complex issue because it then depends on the platform you're using it for. You go for a bank, for example. A bank doesn't use MFA per se. They have multi-layers of authentication, but it's not multi-factor. Like you have a passphrase and then you have your password. So banks will call that MFA, but realistically, if you had a second factor like an SMS, maybe slightly better. But like John says, using Authenticator are slightly better. It still depends on the device, so there are ways in. But realistically, if your account can be hacked by credential stuff and secure compromise and breach, and there's no second factor in that, I think adding something in there. But that's my. It's a.
I totally agree with you. Pass the mic, my turn.
Well, you get a shot.
Thanks very much. I won't sing a song. I know some. It's when you're looking at the security protocols like that, adoption is the hardest bit. So any kind of extra security is clearly brilliant because criminals are lazy and criminals are greedy, and if they knock on one door and it's locked, they'll go and knock on another one. But making people adopt any kind of extra security measure is incredibly difficult. I've been a magistrate for 12 and a half years, and we have a thing called the judicial intranet, which is a closed internet platform for judicial office holders across the UK. And last year, I think it was, the Ministry of Justice decided that they would implement two-factor authentication for access to the judicial intranet. And every single old judge with a wig and a pompous voice said, I'm not remembering another password, bugger off, so they didn't do it. They've done it now, but they had a long, hard slog to make people adopt it. So the point being, you can have brilliant ideas about extra security layers, but getting people to use them is probably, to my mind, the hardest part.
They have to be able to be used as well.
Yes, exactly. Security as an enabler, not as a blocker.
If someone is sending you a text message and you're blind, how do you see it?
True. Yep. And I think we as IT or information security professionals, we kind of think inside our bubble a little bit too much as well. So we kind of go on about the idea of UTF and YubiKeys, and we talk and wax lyrical about how great these things are.
That's because we're technically adept.
But you're not going to roll it out to my mum.
True.
You know, well, yeah, but she's going to go. She's going to go. Oh, that's a lovely beer, and stick it in.
That's one of the barriers to security. Is us as a community of information security professionals. Hopefully, we give really simple things really horrible, stupid names like penetration tester.
Yeah.
Bug bounties, all these kind of labels we give to things that preclude the general population from understanding what we're saying. Yeah. Don't even get me started on packet sniffers and backdoor spammers. It's all bobbins.
Right, let's move on.
Moving swiftly on.
Perfect time to fuck that topic off completely. All right. So, we like to talk about this sort of thing. This is about the idea of certificates, okay? And how secure is a certificate? It's to certain organisations.
Got hard on for that shit.
We need Scott.
You love that.
He's next door. To certain organisations, and Trustify are an example of this, and other more well-known CAs are examples of this. A certificate is more secure the more you pay for it. Okay, in their head. So, for the vast majority of people in this room, a domain validation certificate is perfectly adequate. Okay, in fact, for everybody in the room, D-REIT. Okay, you own the domain, you get a cert. You can prove it, you get your cert. But since things like Let's Encrypt, so who's heard of Let's Encrypt? Yeah, loads of people in the room. Brilliant. So they offer.
If you haven't looked them up, they're a great organisation that provide a free service, which is improving the security of the general net.
Do you work for them?
I don't. No.
Commission.
Nope.
But they're funded by. Pipe down in the corner, please. They're funded by very large organisations. Mozilla Foundation are a funder. Facebook are a funder. Yeah, they're not making any money, any operating profit. They're a not-for-profit organisation. And you get your certificate for free, and you can also renew it using their ACMA protocol. Set up a widget, and it will call out, get you a new certificate, and you can have one as regularly as you want one. Okay?
They only last for 3 months at a time.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool though, because we know revocations bust.
Yep.
Sorry, everybody.
Where's he gone?
Certificates. It's a dry subject, right? Anyone else?
He was expecting it.
I shouldn't have said that. I've been waiting for me outside. Bastard certificates.
We don't condone violence.
No. But let's encrypt it.
We occasionally inflict it.
It's because of all of this interrupt. He's got sick of it. All right.
It's your fault, Brian.
Let's encrypt it
Not
now.
my fault. The
He's
man's a
fucking
lawyer.
doing it again.
Brian.
Was it him that said he had the pictures off your iPhone?
Just one time?
No, because his eyes would be bleeding if he had.
All right, back on topic. So let's encrypt. Okay, free certs, not an issue. That's a threat to the CA industry, right? Obviously. So the CA industry has kind of come back with, well, let's encrypt certs that are not as secure, and a free cert, how can that possibly be secure? And what about extended validation? Well, what about having your name in the bar at the top that really provides authenticity and proof that you are who you say you are? Utter bollocks. Okay? EV is no more secure than DV from a true security point of view. Okay? And furthermore, that little company name bit there is disappearing from all of the major browsers. Okay? It went on mobile browsers a while back, and I think from the current or next iteration of Chrome
and
78, so that's like
two away from where we are.
And
Gone.
Firefox as well. The one is in September and one in October.
And the IE browsers, never mind. We're not bothered about those. No one
I
uses
think they
them.
still have them in IE, but I don't think anybody uses IE.
So it's just fun. Yeah, it's just the idea of paying a little bit more money and we'll give you a more secure SSL setup. Absolute rubbish.
And you get guarantees.
Well, you get
warranty.
You get domain warranty. So hands in the air. Who's heard of domain warranty? Yeah, certificate warranty. So does anybody put your hand up again if you know what you get back or what it covers you for or any of that stuff?
You don't.
Good answer. I guess you were going to say the same thing. Yeah, absolutely right. So how can they sell you something that they don't understand in the first place? Because if they don't understand what it gives you, then you don't know what you get, and if what has to break before you get compensated, and what do you get compensated?
Snake oil.
It's FUD.
Yeah.
Bollocks, right? Okay. Anybody want to say anything else about certs? Did we cover it?
No, because he keeps telling me to shut up, Simon.
If you want to know more about TLS generally, then you can shift now, and Scott Helm's talking about it down the road.
It's all in here as a toxin.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah, he's good.
That and report URI.
He's got a real problem.
He's a good mate, right? Let's be. Who the fuck is Scott Helm? I've got one of those stickers, but it's a work laptop, so. Right.
And nobody knows who the fuck he is.
It's true. It's tinted hair. Loves it. It's better now since we bought him that hairspray.
Yeah.
Right. The answer lies in the blockchain. So again, I don't understand what the blockchain is. Hands in the air if you really honestly do understand what the blockchain is.
We've got it.
Great.
What? Did someone do it?
It's a technology, but it's got no application.
Fantastic.
You know the cybersecurity hub on LinkedIn? They've got this diagram. It's just a bunch of balls and they're linked together. And I've just been holding back from posting a picture of anal beads.
Where's Ken Munro when you need him?
Yeah, we're in the right room, guys.
Have you got any wirelessly enabled anal beads?
There was.
Did you see the article about the Bluetooth butt plug that they hacked?
That was ages ago, mate. Last year he told me that they found some wirelessly enabled electronic nipple clamps. But apparently, right, you can get into the wirelessly enabled connection because it's not secure, because no one secures anything that they connect to the internet because they're all dicks. And you can up the voltage to like 200 million and burn people's boobs off.
Yes, correct.
Shocking endeavour.
But they did that with the butt plug as well.
There's a capture
I don't know if you can burn someone's boobs off with a butt plug.
They overloaded the butt plug and it blew up. I watched it happen.
Anyway,
I didn't.
Moving on,
Blockchain.
So it's.
Jesus Christ, I might give up my lunch.
I saw an advert. I think it was IBM or somebody was running an advert during the Football World Cup last year.
Anal beads, or is this?
Yeah. and it was something. Our blockchain.
You're all about the arse. Shut up.
Is there any? Have you got multi-channel? Can we? When you do the edit and stuff, just
we got one of those 5-second bleepers that they have on Channel 4, please.
is the fact that standing against a white wall any good for kind of like travelling mat and all that?
Or for snipers.
Just karaoke in the background and make him on a beach, innit? Thumbs up.
Right, I'll start again.
Oh, not from the inquiry.
Yeah, hang on, back to the parental advisory. Just here we go.
Anyway, moving on.
There was an advert on during the World Cup last year, and it was, I can't remember whether it was Intel or IBM, whatever, and it said that our blockchain-enabled security ensures that you can live a happy life and you'll be safe forever. And I just thought, this is on ordinary TV, on ITV in the UK, and my dad's watching England beat Panama 5-1 or whatever the score was. What the fuck? What does that mean to my dad? And it didn't mean anything to me. And I'm a security pro and I've been doing technology for 30 years. It meant nothing.
It doesn't mean anything to me, and I ran a thematic project from the Home Office for 2 years on bloody Bitcoin. Right. I still don't understand it.
So it's a mathematical thing that goes beyond my comprehension of mathematics, right? I'll be the first to admit it.
I think you find it's Lego.
I don't. It's a register. It's just shite, and it's used by loads and loads of people. So maybe it's not
One
blockchain.
got my joke.
It might be. You told the joke. Oh.
Possibly not, but I'm certainly looking at one.
Just do that.
I can't actually see you. These were 10 quid from River Island. I'm as blind as a bat.
I'm here all week, and like you.
I fucking live here.
Next gen. So next gen, yeah? We're all aware of the idea that if you buy Silence's AV, you're getting next gen protection, yeah? Other AV vendors are available. But Silence is an example of a company that use a next gen as a concept in terms of the quality of the product, okay? It doesn't mean anything, I don't think, because all of the AV vendors that claim next gen technology are still using signature-based scanning technology.
Well, Silence is slightly different. Silence is an EDR solution rather than AV.
Do you work for them?
I don't. No.
Not yet.
You're on commission?
No, I'm not. Will you stop asking me? If I was on commission, I wouldn't.
No.
Right, we've now run over.
Oh. No, we haven't run over.
That's never been an hour. Piss off.
But the point being is, our next gen, this is a bit like our blockchain enabled that. It doesn't tell you anything. It really has very little value.
Yeah.
But
Much like
once
myself.
we moved on to beyond next gen, and I saw one from Symantec the other day that was -0 day.
Yes.
So lots of
Yes.
tasks that have not yet been invented.
Basically,
Isn't that like a mathematical impossibility, like David Beckham saying, "Oh, I gave it 110%. It's bollocks, like you say, FUD and bollocks.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Look at how we turned that around. Thanks, dude.
And I guguess to bring it to its logical conclusion in terms of
Like this one of those.
Those very much.
funky terms, AI and machine learning. So, again, I praise the research that goes into this kind of stuff. And
artificially intelligent mental Lego.
yeah. Cool. I like that. I'll take that away. We'll have a website up by the end of the day. Unhackable.
Now I'm just singing "Everything Is Awesome" in my head. Is that bad? No.
Everything is awesome.
Thank you. Now you've done it. Even worse. For fuck's sake.
So we haven't actually got yet anywhere a sentient computer.
In this talk, we've just been talking shit for like 40 minutes.
I said computer, not human.
I thought it was an hour.
No. So Skynet doesn't exist and all that kind of stuff, great in the movies, but we haven't got anything computer-wise that can operate without taking its initial instruction from a human at the end of the day. So stop selling it like it's going to be the future decision maker, because if we do that, we're going to start seeing it being the future bad decision maker. Okay, anybody got a thing to add to that?
Nah.
You agree?
I agree.
So 0 days. Thanks for that. We're not going to talk about negative, minus.
Oh, maybe we could talk about this vendor who found 300k 0 days in 1 day. I saw a tweet yesterday from, I think it was Kevin Beaumont. It was like, are you serious? I mean, who buys that? No one. I hope.
Yeah, if they say it on the Twitter, it must be true, right?
If you saw it in the sun.
It must also.
Don't diss me, dude. I get paid for that.
It's more
So you are endorsed.
it's more than we get paid by Forbes.
Yeah.
And we're in there every other day. Chatting shit.
Nobody else to call.
But we are kind of like the tap that never turns off, aren't we? Never mind. 0 days, really trendy thing. Social media loves a good 0 day, as do the media. Okay, as do
vendors.
Vendors love it, and Google's Project Zero love it. Okay, who's heard of those guys?
All of you need to get out more. I'm not sorry.
It occurs to me, and it's my opinion, that there are certain engineers within Project Zero that don't like Microsoft very much.
I mean, does anyone like Microsoft?
I'm cool with Microsoft, but I'm like 46 years old and I've kind of grown up with technology and see.
Dude, you had a hard paper round.
Yeah, man. Yeah, not in the UK, Beirut. But yeah, these modern, cool tech companies are kind of a little bit brash for my liking at times, and Google is no exception. Okay. Physician heal thyself is a biblical statement about get your own shit in order before you start criticising other people. And Google's privacy situation is terrible. Okay, some of their technological decisions equally terrible, but they take great delight. And Tavis Ormandy being one example of Google Project Zero researcher takes apparent serious delight in finding pot shots in Microsoft's general direction. There was a relatively benign Windows 10 certificate bug. Relatively benign in that the article really overplayed the risk to anybody of it.
There's an article ever done that.
Well, quite. But the research overplayed it as well.
Well, what bothers me a bit is Microsoft was responsive. So he disclosed it to Microsoft, and then you see the whole timeline is published, and you see Microsoft. It's not that they ignored him. They said, yes, we will fix it. We need more time. And then 90 days are over and they just go public. Okay, you can say this is the way we do it with every company. Yeah, fair enough, I guess. But honestly, if a company which you disclose a bug to is really working together with you, well, be a bit serious and fix it together, and it's better. At least it's the end user who should benefit from it. That's my honest opinion. And give them a month, 2 months more, and then it will be fine.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Microsoft did engage Google and said, we can't release it in this patch Tuesday because we don't think it's a stable release.
Recently,
give us another patch Tuesday in a month's time and we'll do it for you. And they went, no.
There was another one recently, and that was some kind of, not an easy fix for Microsoft. It was in the main part of some I don't remember anymore. It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was in the kernel, not kernel, but in the main way of was it Windows messaging?
Yeah.
I think so. And then again, it's not reasonable that they can fix it in 90 days. So yeah, I don't know.
As we'll get onto in a couple of minutes. As an InfoSec professional that cares about security posture of my company, 0 days are not actually at the top of my priority. Okay, there are other things that are.
Well, I suppose it depends when the 0 day occurs. Because if you've got external facing infrastructure that's vulnerable, I don't know, if it's Fortinet or whatever, and it's vulnerable to stuff, you want to, take WannaCry for example, that was a 0 day that was popped. I'd imagine that would be pretty high up your list to not have your shit pwned.
Indeed.
Anyway.
But patching would have been my priority when the patch was released in that particular example.
True.
Okay. So, right. Do you want to talk about government statements?
Not while there's some bastard filming me from over there.
Anything you can talk
Fairly
about?
well attached to my kneecaps, thank you. What would you like me to say about this?
Well, I'll give an example. The NSA...
Go on then.
NSA a few months ago went bananas about a 0 day. And now must patch all of your machines globally, otherwise things bad are going to happen.
The sky is going to fall.
It's quite rare that the NSA and governments generally get that involved in the rhetoric and the advisories and stuff. And that led me to believe that at the time it was because there was a risk to the NSA. Okay, so that's my example. Really, that's why this slide's in.
There was one a couple of months ago, I think it might have been a 0 day on Firefox, and then the US authorities issued an alert as well. And you bang on the money. It's not because they're worried about other people that use those platforms. It's because there's a threat to them. And so by encouraging the rest of the uptaking community to secure the platform, they're benefiting by proxy, because then most of us, who are just the user community, doing their security for them. But they also have a more, I'm going to say a proper grown-up word, I can't believe I'm saying this in company, a holistic view of what's going on. And so they have more ability to manipulate the stuff and potentially backdoor themselves as well, so that, we'll all work hard to patch stuff and bug bounty stuff, but actually they probably, sorted themselves out first before they've asked us to help them out.
Yeah.
You might want to just edit that bit out, because I need a new job. They're never going to give me one now.
We don't do censorship in our talks. Yeah, if we did censorship in our talks, then that catastrophe at the start of SteelCon, nobody would have known about.
I'd never be allowed to speak again.
I'm actually now really proud and pleased that I'm banned from Yorkshire by the police, so I wasn't there to see it.
Yeah. We could have smuggled you in. I mean, you can't do inconspicuous, right?
I'm quite bendy as well, so you could get me in a suitcase.
Excuse me?
Honestly, I can do the crab. I won't do it now. Don't want to upset anyone or put them off their dinner, but I can.
You're quite bendy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Useful to know.
No, a suitcase.
All right, so that's the reason, really, that I'm less worried about 0 days and their impact on my organisation, because actually it's the old crap that you've got to worry about, the fact that you've got bad life cycle management,
Solaris.
the fact that you don't know about the fact that you don't know about those 30 Linux machines over there with SSH open on the internet, because they were built 15 years ago by engineers.
This is fine. I mean,
it keeps us in the work. I grant you that.
I'm fairly sure whoever built that castle would be rather upset that you're calling it ancient shit.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? It didn't stand the test of time, did it?
There's a bit of it
like
still
your
left.
infrastructure.
I mean, that's a long time ago, right?
that's a few years old.
And I'm not walking along there. Not for any.
I'm sure you'd be fine.
Go on.
Or standing up there. So yeah, the point being is that there are things closer to home rather than cool 0 days that you've really got to pay attention to. So you've got to do your asset management properly, because number one in security is understanding what your threat posture is. And if you don't know about this infrastructure sat over here, then you're screwed. Okay? If you don't know it exists, you can't patch it, and then you get, what a cry start. Yeah.
Asset identification and asset registers are key. If you don't know what you have, how are you going to protect it?
Correct. Absolutely.
Bang on the money. If you ask a particular global supermarket brand that I won't name because I'm being filmed, how many tins of baked beans they have in all of their supermarkets all across the world. Sorry, got a bit of hay fever.
Do you need a tissue?
They'll tell you, probably later, or a big box of toilet paper at the after party, please. But if you ask them how many tins of baked beans they have, don't laugh too much, please. If you ask them how many tins of baked beans they've got in their entire global estate in every supermarket that they own, other supermarket chains are available, they'll tell you to the minute exactly how many they've got.
Yeah.
If you then go and say, how many devices are connected to your network, they haven't got a fucking clue.
Correct.
It's priorities.
This is really good.
None of that's ever been proved, though, and my name's Dave. The video.
Did I mention it's Marmite beer? What? No kissing after her? I've shaved. Right. It's made with Marmite. I like Marmite.
It's a waste product from the brewing industry to start with.
Is that not the very essence? Exactly. Is that not the very essence of recycling?
Save the planet.
My God, man. No.
Do you want to be a beer farmer? Who said that? You're funnier than us.
Got a better shirt.
All right.
It's a hoodie. And has anyone decoded it yet on the back?
We
Okay.
Too busy listening. Too busy listening to us talk shit.
We're not listening for that.
We're kind of getting to the end now, but just to re-emphasise my point from the previous slide, you look at these particular examples here. The NHS got done by WannaCry, and WannaCry happened because of a lot of old legacy XP infrastructure. With Windows SMB v1 supported and port 445 open to the internet. Okay.
To be fair, they only replaced that in 2006. They're getting
Which was, 13 years ago?
nice cycle.
But to be
Just their
unfair,
expectations.
the NHS is still running 20,000 devices on Windows XP, even though they got done over by WannaCry.
Most of the machines here were Windows 7.
Yeah, some you can't tie it into.
I know.
Well, the point stands, legacy
In the sun.
And didn't they
No, I didn't write it.
spend £150 million on InfoSec? Like, where did it go?
It went to
Not
NHS
to us,
Digital.
really.
Coke and hookers.
I worked for the National Institute for Health Research for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, working on, amongst other projects,
Okay.
the National Patient Registry System, which was a 4 billion, 8 billion.
12 billion.
It depends who you ask. An £8 billion project that failed to deliver and paid a hell of a lot of contractors a lot of money. Okay?
Was McAfee involved with this? It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I think you might have supplied.
I see.
And then Equifax. Okay? So Equifax is, we don't need to talk about the story of Equifax because it was incredibly well documented. But Apache struts was the problem there. Patches existed for that particular that underpinning framework. They didn't bother patching it, and I think it was Sean said it was something like a 2-line code update would have saved them.
The struts fun bit?
Yeah, something really simple.
I don't know.
And the developer was prohibited from applying the patch, thrown under the bus, and the company ultimately threw itself under the bus, down to not keeping their shit up to date. Shout out the game.
What now?
Some game.
It's before your time, Brian.
I don't go on the internet.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not allowed.
So,
How did he know that?
he's banned.
That's what it says in the back of your t-shirt.
You're
No,
not
it says
allowed-
fuck off on the back of my
Are you banned? Are you banned?
You tried.
Yeah, now I know like 85 people at beer at the after party can't fucking sponsor.
The lost art of keeping secrets, Brian. Clickbait. Yeah.
TV clear, for fuck's sake.
You're where?
Well, yeah.
Until you said
Still a
that.
very naughty boy.
He's not the Messiah.
Carry on, please, we're the end.
Yeah, we're nearly done now. Thank Christ for that, quite frankly. Clickbait. Yeah.
I'm
So,
Brian, and so is my wife. Shut up.
yeah. We can do Life of Brian later when we've got
We
more
should have just done
time.
that now. It would have been a lot more funny.
Well,
It would have been easier.
if they're not paying us, I don't care how funny it is.
Back to guitar. Jesus.
So yeah, clickbait. So a lot of the crap that you see in the online magazines and news outlets, that's just there to get you to click on a website and generate ad revenue. Okay, simple as that. No other reason. So headline grabbing. Hi.
No, there's a man at the window. Why does just me? I mean, I assume it's a man. It's got a beard.
Well, I can't see who you're looking at, can I?
Might be polysexual. I don't know.
So in the next gen AI, machine learning, blockchain, that's all around getting you to buy a product that's flattering to that particular vendor. Product sales. With things like the government and probably bigger news outlets, I think it's around behavioural control. I think that's what it's all there about. It's about scaring you into making a decision that's in their interest of you to do it. And as I said at the end, really, you've got bigger problems nearby, so focus, spend your energy and your resources and your time and effort and money on that kind of stuff. So that was our FUD talk. We hijacked it ourselves a bit throughout, but we hope you enjoyed it. And if you're going, we'll see you at the bar afterwards. So thank you very much. Before you go, before we all clear off,
This is very warm. What have we been doing?
we've got a little bit of media we'd like to play for you.
Oh, for fuck's sake, no!
You agreed to it.
Yeah, but I was fucking exhausted that time.
So,
What is it? It's not you.
It's me chatting shite at 4 a.m. because somebody, I think Ken tweeted at me. He's like, "Oh, Andy, you're Scottish. You can fucking read this." So there was Cyber Gibbons, Andrew Tierney put out a series of tweets taking the piss out of Bitfi with a trade spotting kind of theme. They went, here it goes, fucking record it, so I recorded it, and then some fucking cunt put music over it and re-uploaded it to Spotify. Now this bell end is going to play it to you. Yay!
Before I do it, so Sam, who was on before we were, did a little bit of John McAfee bashing. It wasn't heavyweight stuff. It was quite compared to what we've done in the past. It was pretty tame.
Oh, we're out of time. What?
Shut up, Andy.
10 minutes.
It's a minute and a half long.
Are there any questions?
We've been pretty.
He's off.
We've been pretty critical of Bitfi over the last 6 months. I don't know if you've noticed.
Is there not here to Bitfi?
But we
hide the part.
and at Sheffield, I think it was Kev Beaumont actually that said he felt that Bitfi had been done to death. Public speaking.
I was saying I see them really helpful.
If you're gonna heckle, don't. I like heckling like that. Carry on.
What, like this?
That's perfect. What did you say? Sorry, Somebody Hats Club. Yeah. I'm a proud member.
I can see Pornhub up there.
So we decided that we'd get rid of Bitfi as a topic, and we agreed this because we were getting bored.
It's old news.
It's old news, but
So why are we playing this?
we couldn't not play this.
Choose hardware wallets, choose a cryptocurrency, choose a CEO, choose a tiny fucking tablet, choose white label Chinese products, SIMs, unverified Wi-Fi basebands and unsigned firmware. Choose no social media manager, no truth and no testing. Choose the most expensive hardware, choose unsecured USB bootloaders, choose whales, choose faux leather cases and mismatching serial numbers. Choose 3 M16s on hire purchase with a range of sites. Choose DIY crypto and wondering who the fuck you are on a Sunday morning. Choose sitting on the couch, watching mind-numbing, spirit-crushing tweets, stuffing fucking junk food into your mouth. Choose rotting away at the end of it all, pishing your last Twitter, nothing more than an embarrassment to the selfish fucked up product you've spawned to spam the world. Choose your future. Choose life. Why would I want to do a thing like that? I chose not to choose life. I chose something else. And the reasons? There are no reasons. Who needs reasons when you've got Bitfi?
And on that note, has anyone got any questions? Why? I don't know. That is a good question. Fuck knows.
So zero trust is real?
What?
It's not in the presentation.
Well, I don't trust him.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.